Now it sounds like a pug trying to breathe. Yeah, that's how you know they're good. She's got a little bit more compression than I'd expect for an engine that doesn't have a glow plug in it. I've got a surprise for you. Let's just... Okay, yeah, that was super easy. And it rolls up like a champ. Look at that. Well, that. It's not the size that count. Well, I mean, that actually proves it's the size that count. You know what? We're working on that today. Don't worry about it. Dearly beloved, we are gathered, subscribed, gathered here today to work on more problems. I've pulled out old problems and pulled in brand new problems that have seemingly no logic to be even in my life. It is a 22-year-old, that is 1998 for those of you and me who had to run that through a math filter or calculate, whatever. This is a Duratrax Maximum BX buggy. But today we're going to try to revive this old gal and get her on the road, or, well, dirt, one more time. First things first, I don't know what's going on with the electronics here, but it looks like it's a few screws short of a coconut. So I think what we'll do here is something. In the engine area, it looks like they just used it to collect sawdust. Like maybe there was a saw placed directly in front of it, and then they turn on the Nitro car so it could suck in some of that clean sawdust air. To carry on the sawdust bloodline, it looks like it sucked some through the fuel lines. I tried blowing these out, and I mean, I got some action, but not enough to call it action. And then I opened the fuel tank and saw a whole bunch of crap sitting in there. Like a true connoisseur, I read the manual where it says to be sure to install a fuel filter, but appears to not include one in the parts list, and I'm not seeing one unless the sawdust was from the factory to try to filter out the contaminants that aren't sawdust. So, but with a little bit of ingenuity and some fear, I bet we can make this thing at least half as good as it was originally. Oh, no, a third. Let's get started. Okay, that suspension bottomed out, but that's fine. This thing needs a name. Most of its body is, well, gone, but it's got a little wing on it. Little Red Magnum. Magnum Little Red. Any of those sound nice. But if you can come up with a better one, please, someone needs to. She's got a lot of compression. I think there might be a little bit of corrosion, or maybe some old used up castor oil still chilling in there that's keeping her a little stuck up. So I think my first step is to maybe put a little oil in there just to help her out. Also, there is a lot of garbage in this cylinder head. And parts that fall off the cylinder head. Oh, that was something else. Okay, we probably didn't need that. This is my favorite brand of oil. Totally not power steering fluid. Bar and chain oil, probably. It comes from Walmart. It's probably awful. And we're gonna use a little bit of whatever is inside this bottle to help lubricate that engine for the first time now that I've covered it with brake clean and shoved all that sawdust inside it. This is a syringe I found, well, in the box it came in. It's got this little noodle thing attached to it, so I guess we'll use this to transfer oil into our engine. Okay, it's starting to work worse the longer I'm doing it. Okay, we got all that. And then we'll put just a little bit of love inside you. How about a little bit more love? Yeah, more love couldn't hurt. Unless you explode. Here, I don't want any of this. Go, take it back. Okay. It's not the sound I expected you to make. You know what? I honestly don't know what sound I expected a syringe with a little rubber nipple attached to it filled with bar and chain oil to make. Well, power steering, well, bar and chain oil. Look at that! Only a little bit of explosion out of there and you can one finger pull it. Or, well, you should probably use two, but let's get started on the fuel system. Unscrew it from the chassis. We'll finagle it out of there and we'll disconnect her from the engine. You can definitely see old oil that's kind of residued inside the tube and some of our sawdust filter media that's no longer working. I hopped on the old Amazon Webster dictionary and bought some Dubro fuel filling and fuel line pack. So that way it actually gets a fuel filter like it was supposed to, and maybe we won't have to rely on the sawdust to remove the minerals that keeps our engine clean. Once you've got your fuel tank filled with brake cleaner, just oh yeah, be sure to put your finger over the fuel outlet before you shake it all over your face. And then just shake it like a bartender. That's got a very unique smell. Don't slam the lid when it's covered with fluid, because your eye holes will hate that. It's okay, it's just my vision. Nothing important. A lot of sawdust in this thing. Probably give this whole thing a bath. And by whole thing, I mean me. Someone should probably give me a bath. There's a lot of fumes in here. It's okay though. Brake cleaner's safe. It wouldn't hurt me. I'm gonna run the fuel line a little bit differently than they did. Mainly because I don't believe they had any idea what they were doing either. So we're gonna give it this little bit of loop. That way we can run the filter somewhere. Just get this lined up and then start fighting it. Yeah, come on. Come on. Oh, stay looped. Stay looped, little big guy. Little Red Riding Magnum. Don't make me call it quits just because I can't get this to line up. Okay, there we go. Whew, that was a close one. Almost had to give up. Before we go any further, the curiosity is killing the mat. I kind of want to see what's inside the Dual Bro 9000 filter situation. I want to see all of its filter media in all its glory. So, ironically, it was filled with metal shavings. So we're just replacing the sawdust with metal. Neat! There appears to be a little screen of filter media sitting half on and half off. So now I'm really glad, but also kind of sad that I opened this because that exceeded expectations in a different way than I expected. So let's just go ahead and get it cut a little bit long and connect her up to the engine. Go on. Oh, we can't forget our fuel clips unless we can. Pretty much only done electric RC cars. Nitro is kind of a new thing to me. Are these useful or am I just being stupid? Feel free to comment that down below because I'm actually curious. I'm gonna put it about right here. That looks good. Perfect. Now we'll just take all this good looking stuff and shove it down below so I never see it again. Nitro cars are weird. They actually use the exhaust to pressurize the fuel tank. Just like Carl Benz wanted. Alright, well that looks done. So, done! The little Red Riding Magnum's got some heat on her now. It's looking less and less sick like you describe someone that's suffering from food poisoning, and more like you describe someone that's cool. So it's got some sickness to it. Still bottoms out. So we've got our high tech, which I doubt is anything but high tech. She's got a bundle of wires all nicely cable managed by twisting them around. I don't recommend using these battery packs because if a battery pops out on you while you're doing your shindigs, you'll have a runaway on your hands, as in she's never going to come back to you until it hits a wall or something. And then it'll come back to you in little bits and pieces. Rerunning some of these servo cables so they don't look like an animal did it. And if it doesn't turn out looking good the way I did it, I'll blame it on like being a fun creative animal like a platypus or a chupacabra. What is happening here? Why were you routed like that? Who hated you? Probably an idiot. Yeah, probably a dumb guy. I'm reasonably picky about keeping all the wiring and things bundled up safely on your rigs. That way they don't get involved in something over here or in any of the love triangle that's happening in this corner. I do recommend either taking some electrical tape or throwing a zip tie around your battery pack just to keep those little guys from blasting off. Let's hit that power switch and see if our servos jerk to life. Hey, that's what I want to see. Movement for no reason. Nice. Nothing says quality like a fake rubber wheel that's petrified from 22 years of age. It's literally rock solid, and then when you try to cushy it, the cushiness just cracks. So, oh, and it gives you a little black residue all over your fingers. Probably causes cancer in California, but only in California. Before we open this, my guess is it takes 6 batteries. If it's really old and junky, it's gonna take 8. 8! Cool! Thought it was ironic that Nitro RC cars seemingly take more batteries than electric cars. On. Alright, we've got a green light that says high. Okay. There's a yellow light that says normal. I would say normal would be green. Okay, and then red is low, so I'm assuming that's our battery gauge. Let's try to go left. Left. Right, oh no, so our servos were reversed. I connected it the same way it was connected before. I wonder if someone just thought this thing was junk and like, I can barely control the throttle with this wheel and you got a trigger and it turns it left and right. That doesn't make any sense. I hope that was what was actually happening and this car will actually run great when I just reverse those. Speaking from past experiences, whenever I've seen a throttle and a steering and one's reversed from a ready-to-run car, that doesn't sound right. So let's go ahead and pop the air filter off this guy and knock all the sawdust out of there and confirm that that's how the throttle actually works. Not that I've ever been around an RC car that didn't have it set up from the factory right, and when you go to start it, it does wide open throttle immediately and scares you emotionally. Just your average air filter covered with sawdust. Normal things. It doesn't look bad inside there. I think with enough carb cleaner and love, we can fix this. Mainly just carb cleaner. Where did you go, paper towels? Oh, there you are. You really got the short end of the stick. You could have been living a nice life in a box in some dude's closet. Instead, I busted you out and started touching all over you. I'm no podiatrist, but the fact that the throttle blade's basically stuck a quarter of the way open, and when she goes full throttle, it moves the engine. Something's a little off. So let's dial back our throttle so she's not angry at anything. Get her about, oh yeah. Hey, now the engine, is the engine mounted? Yeah, no, the engine's mounted, okay. Should have asked that question a little while ago, but not sure what's going on with some of the steering adjustment levels, but we're gonna call it good with how she's riding, because it's steering and it's going the right direction, and we confirmed that the throttle needs to be reversed, so whatever. Now that we verified that the carburetor exists and the engine is actually mounted, and that the throttle is in fact at wide open at idle, we're just gonna go ahead and shove the filter in backwards, because that makes sense. I've oiled it with garage door lubricant, so she's probably fine. Also in the box I found this little muffler exhaust doodad. Pretty sure that's a technical name for it. It's also got a zip tie to make sure the exhaust tube doesn't fall in the muffler. I don't know, people. Either way, I'm gonna slap it into its hole and see what happens. Darn child protection things to keep me out of nitromethane. Oh, okay, you fill up fast. Should have really gotten one of those little fueling jugs. Yeah, okay, there you go. Should not have put that little red thing back in. That did not work well. Well, I guess it did. It kept me out of there. And I was trying to drink it. Okay, let's get all the nitro I spilled off the table and then just throw this somewhere. Yeah. Let's go ahead and prime the fuel lines. I'm not really sure. I think we're primed. Since the fuel's blue and the fuel line's got the blue tint to it, I can't really tell. So we'll get that on there and how do I... Ooh, okay. Alright. Not what I expected to start on the first try. Okay. Let's keep that on there just a wee bit longer. Yeah, there's that tuning problem. I was hoping we could get her started based off her initial settings, but doesn't look like that's working. So we're gonna start messing around until we get her started. I'm just randomly turning this screw until she runs better. So far it's not working. 19th time's the charm. Hey, there we go. This is getting a little warm. Yeah, no, I think let's try a new glow plug. She doesn't seem to want to stay lit. I mean, that one was 22 years old, found in the bottom of a box. I used carb cleaner to get all the goo off of it and sawdust. Let's try a new. You know what? The more I think about it, let's try a new glow plug. There she goes. She lost her ratchet mechanism for a second. She always does that. Classic Harbor Freight. time to take her outside and do some stuff. And in true fashion, it started pouring down rain. So rather than have two problems, one being I don't know what I'm doing and it's only going so well, and two, it's gonna get soaked, let's just avoid that entirely and we're gonna take her out on another day. Now that it's a fresh, beautiful day and no longer pouring down rain and our yard isn't a swamp, we're gonna go test her out in the little yardsy and see what we can do to... Okay, so yeah, I forgot the gate was locked and it's kind of rusted shut. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. You can never be too safe with your codes and stuff nowadays. Gotta be safe. Look at that, got a 5-pounder. She's a little rough around the edges. Yeah, we'll just throw her back, this ain't good. But yeah, that was the best 30 seconds of my life. And that's not the last time I want to be saying something like that. So let's go back into the garage. We're gonna build her better. We're gonna put the wheel back on. We're gonna make it faster. Well, maybe fix the tire. Yeah, no, we're just gonna do things a little bit differently. I don't know if it's gonna be better or worse, but hey, you better check out the next video where we make it something.